Hey Collective, what's going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your energy for the next week via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it. We're in Cancer season. We're coming up on a full moon in Capricorn. And we have a couple planets in retrograde. We have Pluto and Neptune. They just went into retrograde recently. And then we're also going to see Saturn go into retrograde at the end of the week. So there's a lot kind of happening. Retrogrades give us an opportunity to slow things down, to take inventory, to look at what's going on around us in our world and assess or reassess, right? Pluto in retrograde forces us to make changes. Neptune and Saturn in retrograde, they're actually both in Aries. They're on top of each other right now. And so it's really challenging us to trust ourselves, trust and listen to your gut instincts. That's not always the easiest thing. You know, when it's a glaring, blaring, don't go that way, X, stop sign, whatever, blinking red light, I should say. It's easier to kind of pick that up, right? But this is the more subtler things. And I really love this energy because I think it's something we need. I think it's something that's very important. I know it doesn't feel super comfortable right now because of the changes that are being made. And unfortunately, it is highlighting places in our life where there are disconnects, people, relationships, dynamics, situations, things that we trust, the people we trust, right? Things we rely on for our sustenance, our stability. But that's really what Cancer energy highlights, is how we can better support ourselves, create that foundation for ourselves, because that's what we deserve. That's what we need to be the best version of ourselves, so to speak. So that's why I like to start off the readings with an energy cleansing. Just set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out any blocks, obstacles, limitations we might be coming into. It's a really good time to set your own intention as well, especially if you've come in with something on your heart or mind, something you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It's a really great way to personalize the collective readings, and it actually works, I promise. And I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are interested in more of just a realignment of self, mind, body, soul, I do energy healing, as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're feeling strong and grounded and aligned with self, that's really where we're able to manifest happiness, abundance, fulfillment, because we know ourselves. We know ourselves, we know what we want, we know what we need, and it's way easier to make decisions accordingly when we're coming from that space. So I would love to help support in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All that info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being, so that we may see and understand the messages clearly, help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. All right, so I'm hearing it's like easy to disconnect this week, disconnect from yourself. I feel like there is a lot going on. I feel like there's a lot that you want to see manifest. This disconnection is almost just like, it's not complete avoidance, but it has a little bit of that energy where I'm hearing this is like done and over with. You're just like ready to move on from people, from situations. Unfortunately, with Pluto in retrograde, it really has this tendency to kind of make things linger. Especially the bigger things that require a little bit more determination, more energy. And that's like, I'm seeing overarching with the moving card in our overarching energy. It's a lot about like getting clear about what you want and then making moves accordingly. It might not even be something that you are banking on, right? Like, I feel like there's something around this that, like, I don't look at you going into this week like, okay, I'm going to make these changes and this is going to happen and whatever. It's more like, because of how things are unfolding as the week is moving forward, you're seeing that like, okay, I actually have to do this because this is what's going to get me to my end goal. But it's not where you want to go 100%, because we have the gold digger, of course. It's not where you want to go, because I think maybe in your mind, in your thoughts, your ideals, you're hoping that someone, something, a situation is going to be better than what it actually is. It looks like this is a week of boundaries, and it makes a lot of sense with that full moon in Capricorn. Capricorn is not the easiest energy. Because it forces, well, it's governed by Saturn, also the devil in the tarot. So it's forcing us to do the harder work. It's forcing us to actually recognize the ways, the places people are taking advantage of us. And the gold digger is connected to our stability, right? Like I was always talking about in the very beginning, it's specifically connected to, and what I'm hearing is this is someone else's stability that you're investing into, not your own. And I feel like, it's highlighting a lot of these places where, I don't know, like you took a lot of responsibility. Someone's actions, behavior made you feel a certain way about yourself. Perhaps you've been trying to move on from this or release this or let go, but to some capacity you're committed, right? And so there's only so much you can do, right? This is kind of like being in a bad marriage or a bad relationship that you just can't get away from. And no shade, like I'm not trying to, pinpoint anybody's relationship dynamic to be a certain way, but the energy really comes through like you've committed to this thing, so you're seeing it through. You're seeing it through, and I don't know, like it's forcing you to be a better version of yourself, so to speak. It's forcing you, yes, to open your heart, or you were trying to open your heart to someone. Again, places that you took on responsibility that was not yours to take on. Like your version of making something better is not the same as whomever you're dealing with. Actually, they were hoping that you would continue that viewpoint so it would make it easier and more successful for them. But it's not. It's actually been coming into a lot of obstacles, a lot of bumps and bruises is what I'm hearing. So maybe not just like physically, but emotionally, right? Places where you've had to get the short end of the stick, or someone like it does have a lot of stubborn energy. It does have a lot of, usury around it. Someone who's using you for what you have. And again, these situations are never easy because we want to believe the best in people. We want to hope, we want to whatever. But as it's unfolding, it's very clear to you that boundaries definitely need to be set. Boundaries need to be set because something is not sustaining you. Something is not allowing you to show up in your life in the way that like you want to, because you end up investing energy into things that really you shouldn't have to. And it does directly feel like someone is responsible for this. I'm not, again, trying to fearmonger, but there is a little bit of control manipulation behind the scenes, or someone's trying to control the narrative. They're trying to make certain things happen, and you're feeling this, right? Like you're feeling this, you kind of know. So beginning of the week, as you're opening your heart, as you're maybe being more receptive to different ideas, like it's not just this one perspective, as you take that step back, as you have a bird's eye perspective, like just take a minute, take a beat this week, really assess what's going on. Sometimes I find a pros and cons list very valuable, because if we can't understand it emotionally, that pros and cons list really helps us to see it practically. Like, this is what it is. And that's a lot of what this feels like. This feels like a situation, a dynamic where you have been shortchanged. Maybe someone's trying to backpedal a little bit, backtrack a little bit. Yes, because there's connection here on some level. But the disconnect is this gold digger, this energy of like someone's trying to use you, or someone is using and you are not. It's that difference, right? Between, and I'm hearing for some of us, it's like people accusing you of what they are doing. Like that classic projection is what it feels like. In the beginning of the week, it's a little more okay, right? Like our full moon doesn't come in until Thursday. So there's this value of hoping, believing, hoping that, and I'm like, even that things are moving, that are moving in a direction, because there has been some promise, or there has been some good things that are happening, some deposits into the positive. And so it's making you feel hopeful. But again, like it is hard to deny. And this exactly, like this gold digger, and again, that full moon, in Capricorn, it's highlighting that all that shit, right? Like Saturn doesn't leave any stone unturned, unfortunately. You know, hopefully I don't think you're on like the bad end of that, like the negative end of that. I don't feel that, because to me, it looks like you're authentically trying to work with someone or something. You're authentically like just saying, okay, I think this is good. I'm sorry for X, Y, and Z, or whatever it may be. Like you're finding you're really, maybe you're not even apologizing. I don't know why I threw that in there. That might be a message for someone. But what I'm trying to get at is there's this value of like you doing what you need to do. You like looking at, understanding, kind of seeing the disconnects, and then making choices accordingly, right? Speaking to that, like, hey, I don't want this to go this way, or how can we work together? And you can't get that. You can't get that because, like, again, someone who is a gold digger or who wants to take your stability is a selfish person. It's a selfish effing person. And you know this, like, again, I don't think this is something that is new for you. I think that perhaps it's not new for you because you kind of see through this person. I don't think you really like what you see, but you're trying to make the best of it, right? The Queen of Cups is really good at seeing people's best side, even if it's not really who and what they are. There's some connection here with the Six of Cups, so a belief that maybe it can get better or whatever, right? But I don't know, midweek, and this is kind of how the pattern has been going. Like we start off feeling kind of good. There's a lot of positive aspects to Venus in the beginning of the week. Venus is in in Gemini, which really highlights duality. It highlights the duality that we're seeing in relationships. So people showing up a little bit differently. And that's where I see you kind of being like, okay, I can work with this. I can deal with this beginning of the week, right? Like this isn't as bad as maybe what I was anticipating. Again, it's like adjustments, but like I said, I don't necessarily feel like those adjustments are given to you at the same time. And that's where the tension, that's where the frustration starts to ensue as we move to midweek. We're seeing this across the board with the moon as well as Jupiter. So Jupiter is our abundance. It's what brings in our wealth, our fortune. And the moon is our emotions. And honestly, as I'm saying this, Cancer season gives us an opportunity to really evaluate like what makes us feel stable. And if something is not, then, right? If something is not, then. I feel like someone made a bad decision, you got the short end of the stick, and then it looks like they're trying to clean up. They're trying to clean up, but they go right back into it. And there's something around this where it just kind of feels not interesting to you anymore. And I'm also seeing like full moons, they bring manifestation. So something's going to work out or it's not. And it looks like as much as you keep trying or giving the benefit of the doubt or trying to find solutions or whatever it may be, again, like this cycle is repeated very quickly this week, whatever this is. But if it's specifically about you, I don't know, because there are other players involved. And perhaps this is about someone seeing a side of someone that they need to see, if that makes sense. And then you are actually just like, not a pawn, but you're like a player in that, right? Like that's kind of how relationships work, you know, like sometimes we come into relationships to teach lessons, to learn, to grow. And then sometimes we are that lesson for people. And it feels a little bit like this because again, you're connected to this there and whomever, whatever you're working with, dealing with knows that. They know that you're loyal. They know that you're committed to some capacity. And so, but like I said, it looks like whatever something is accusing you of, this feels like a direct obstacle. This feels like someone who's like, no, I'm not giving collective this, or this feels like someone's being very stubborn and does not want to give you the benefit of the doubt. You're picking up their anger. Like I'm hearing like they're to your face, they're saying nice, beautiful things. And then behind your back, it's a completely different story. As I'm seeing this, gossip does not affect me, right? Like it really looks like someone who just unfortunately bases their worth, their value off of a lot of superficiality. And especially when it comes to your relationship, because there's something about it, like they want power and control over. They want power and control over you, over the narrative, etc. And I feel like this is all the stuff that's unfolding. At the same time, okay, so we have the Empress coming through from this. It's because they see you. They see who you are. They see your worth, your value, and they're jealous of that. Maybe a little bit like they don't know how to get rid of you, or they don't know, like it's someone who feels maybe some level of guilt. I don't know how much that is, but it's definitely someone who's operating out of a lot of pain, a lot of hurt. Like they haven't really like cleaned up their wounds, so to speak. And then they're dragging you with them, dragging you through the mud. But it looks like end of the week, like you're over it. And we've been seeing this pattern a lot in the collective. And as I'm seeing this in the astrology, there's so much that's harmoniously aspected to Saturn at the end of the week. Basically meaning that we're overcoming our lessons. Like we might not like what it is, but this is that value of like facing your fears to find new and creative solutions. And we actually had this in our collective energy. It's about believing that you can have what you want, right? Like if you're seeing these disconnects, which it looks like this situation is really hard to turn around. It looks like you're dealing with someone or something that's set in their ways. And even if you come speak truth, speak things that make sense, they're not going to hear it. They're not going to hear it because this is someone who doesn't want to own up to it. This is someone who has a lot of pride. This is someone who just banks on the fact that you're going to be around regardless. So a little bit of a bully energy, a little bit of a bludgeoning, like you're the whipping post is what I'm getting at. Not to be vulgar or graphic, but it definitely feels like someone kind of like preys on you. Maybe you don't even see it fully. Maybe you see little glimpses of it. It feels like backhanded compliments. It's that vibe, right? Like, oh, like you're so, it just, backhanded compliments. I fill my heart with truth and honesty. I love this. I don't allow illusions or confusion to lead my life. I respect others when they listen to their souls. I don't try to divert their attention for my own entertainment. I'm gentle with their energy. This way the world becomes a more peaceful place. I don't necessarily feel like you're the aggressor in this dynamic, But this is also just about like letting people be and do what they need to do. Because the value for you is seeing through them. The value for you is being able to pinpoint the disconnect and move on, right? Overly simplistic, but true. It's not easy to get out of commitments, especially if there is, contracts, whatever involved. I'm not talking about just like walking away from something that like needs attention per se, but I think it's important to find yourself in the midst of all of this. Really like just kind of acknowledge and recognize who and what you are and what you bring to the table and whatever this person's situation is trying to counteract that with, right? Because it does feel like someone who's putting you down to make themselves feel better. I'm fully unique. Distractions lead me to create a false self. Only through acceptance of myself can I deliver my full potential in life. Every human being is unique. I feel like this person's situation struggles with that. They struggle to understand you, or maybe you're just like a point of conversation for them, right? To kind of talk about, gossip about, etc. And perhaps that's what has made you operate in this certain way. But I feel like at the same time, you're kind of over it. Like there's just a lot of you being over it. Like I'm seeing a lot of you overcoming the obstacles that have been in place that this person's situation's putting on you, trying to like, it feels like someone who's trying to shove you into a box. That's just not true. And I feel like it looks like, and I feel like you keep overcoming, and they just keep throwing more at you. And that goes back to what I was saying, why this disconnect is highlighted super quickly beginning of the week, right? Like I feel like someone else is seeing this, and that's the important key. That's the important factor. I go deeper in my life. Life is an adventure. I seek wisdom in life. I transform fear into love. I accept pain and transform it into wisdom. So again, like not easy. It's not easy because we hope, we desire, we wish people's situations would be a little bit different. And unfortunately, it's just not, but it's not a bad thing. It's teaching you to set the appropriate boundaries for yourself. It's teaching you to deal with the conflict and find your own success throughout the process, even if it feels a little bit shitty or like we wish people weren't the way that they are. Well, it's life, unfortunately, right? And I feel like a lot of times when we're dealing with people's situations like this, it is an opportunity, it's an invitation to open up, to open your heart to people and situations that are actually honoring and serving you. And that's what I feel is the ultimate theme this week, is you're moving towards that. And some of it is about weeding out, getting rid of some of these commitments, whatever that looks like. A lot of it to me, if you're not leaving a relationship or a dynamic, then it's readjusting how you're playing in that, resetting your boundaries so that it's not so much on, the responsibility is not so much onto you. So I hope this helps, collective. Thank you so much for your time, energy, always. I super appreciate you. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to hear, or just say, hey, share in a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support you bring to the channel. No, I'm sending it back your way.